Welcome to episode 206 of the Watchin It podcast. On our continued journey through the wasteland, I didn't get my Mirelurks, but I did get my 10 millimeter. I'm your host, Robert, and with me is Donnell.
I'm so glad she kept it too. I was
yeah.
no more trank gun. We got a 10 millimeter.
When she walks out with the leather armor, I'm like, here we go.
Yeah. I was
she
like,
had time to go by the crafting station.
I was like, she walked in there, a vault dweller, came out a wasteland.
That's right.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, she went through a lot of changes in these two episodes.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
And, I mean, she needs to. I mean, and that's what I'm loving about this show is it feels so authentic to the journey you have when you're playing the game. You come out the vault and you just some scrawny dude looking for a gun, and then suddenly you're wearing bandit leathers. And you got yourself I gotta have a 10 millimeter. Got to.
Well, let's get started with episode 3, The Head.
Aptly
last
named.
time on.
Yeah.
The second episode didn't have a last time on. I didn't
felt
see
like
one.
it did.
But we don't need we don't need a last time on. This came out all at once.
Exactly. If I say last time on can still be right, I guess, these days if you're doing a weekly, but even weekly you don't need last time on. I didn't really think about it, but still, or maybe that's just me.
I mean, if it's weekly, I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it, but
usually it gives you like a theme for what the episode's going to be. Maybe they'll show you a character you haven't seen in a while, and you're like, oh, this is good. They're going to be bringing them back or talking about this subject. Get you excited for the episode, and stuff like that.
Okay.
But not in these situations
when you drop all the episodes at once, last time on makes no sense.
But this one starts out in the past with Coop.
Yep.
And he is shooting a cowboy movie.
Yep. I like that, or not like this, or find it interesting that even though he's not yet, because this episode this is showing how he becomes a spokesperson. So he's not yet the spokesperson for Vault Tech. Yep. He's already wearing his cowboy uniform with blue and yellow. He's already wearing the color scheme.
Yeah, so let's talk about this past story, which gets intermingled with the thing, with it, and goes all the way to starts at it and ends with it. Right?
Yep.
And he's wearing this blue and yellow cowboy outfit.
Yep.
And his wife works for Vault Tech, which we find out later.
Yep.
In future episodes. I've seen till the end. Donnell has not seen till the end, but I'm gonna
this episode that she works with him.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, because he's the one who sets it all up, and he even says.
But yeah, she gets a radiation suit made in his colors
because
he's gonna do a promotional thing.
Yeah,
because he becomes the Vault Boy.
Yes, which I'm like, why is his hair not blonde? Like, even if it's
they just changed that in the art.
Yeah, all right.
But I thought this was awesome that like he created the image, and it gives it a certain dynamic.
He created the thumbs up, even. Like they were like, just do something. Like I got an idea.
Yeah, but it gives a certain because there's a scene where he shoots the face off of a Vault Tech. Vault Boy billboard.
Yep.
It's like it gives a whole new aspect to this character because everything where he's walking around, he'll see like a Vault Boy statue, and he's like, "That's me," and I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially because it's one of the things. So, like a lot of people, I'm not sure if you know this, or I'm assuming you're assuming this. Everybody's playing Fallout games again. Like with this show coming out, Fallout 4's playership has boomed, and
they needed to have Fallout 5 ready for this or something.
Even 3 and Vegas are seeing a bunch of players up, and I am one of them. I'm playing some Fallout 4 right now.
I don't have that kind of time right now. Too much anime to watch.
And there's in the opening of Fallout 4. When the bomb, you just become a vault. You just signed on to Vault Tech when the bombs drop.
Yeah.
And you rush over to a vault and you get in, but there's a whole group of people standing at the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine Coop had a similar experience because they were rushing to go somewhere. And I imagine he's like, I'm the face of Vault Tech.
Yeah.
I should be getting in here.
Well,
and it's obvious he doesn't.
Without giving too much spoilers, his wife doesn't just like work with Vault Tech. She's like a high level executive. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah.
They've got prime placement in a vault somewhere.
Yeah. Interesting. Very nice. One thing, and it's one of those things like either, and maybe since you've already seen, either things go catastrophically wrong very quickly for him after he does the Vault Boy, or it's just the curse of doing a show with a child. Because the opening episode of this, him and his daughter at a birthday party.
Yeah.
And he's very clearly had some sort of falling out with Vault.
They get into it a little bit of where they're at. Yeah.
And my thing is this is a curse of a child. They use the same actress, which I mean, of course, well, I know it's you, but also it just makes it where it seems like it couldn't have been that long because kids grow up pretty quickly, and she looks the exact same age as at the birthday party. So it's like, that's what I wrote down. I was like, I mean, now that I know, you already know, I don't know, but yeah, it's like I was just like, yeah. So either things fall apart quickly, or it's just unfortunate effect of having a child
I think
actress.
It's interesting that he does the birthday party, and they want him to do the thumbs up.
Yeah, they wanted to do the thumbs up.
Which at first I thought that had to do with something with his movie character or something, but no, it's because he's the vault guy.
Yeah, he's the vault guy. Yeah.
No, I think it's important to note that he doesn't want to shoot the guy in the movie.
Yeah,
he's like, it's bad for his character. But then later on, when he's rewatching the scene, he totally shoots the guy.
Yeah.
And there's some undertones that become important later that they mention in this, like one of the guys, Bob, getting fired for being a communist, and in the movie when he shoots the guy, he's like, "Die, you commie bastard."
There's a lot of the Red Scare. Yeah, and so here's actually one thing I was wondering. This is just big Fallout picture overall. Is have they ever? Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Have they ever said the cause of everything? Like, is it the Russians, or is it just like, because you're always playing, you're a vault dweller or someone who's already experienced, so you're already that far in the future. So have they ever said like what, like obviously nukes, but like nukes from where?
There's history. If you go and read the wiki, I feel like they kind of changed some stuff in the show to match up with the story that they wanted to tell, but I could be wrong. But I don't want to give any spoilers away, because they get into that too.
Nice. That's one thing about this show, and then also a little bit, but I mean, not that I ever played it, but Fallout 76, that very much intrigued me, is just being able to see, because like you said, you always play Fallout games, it's after the fact that everything's been done, so getting able to see someone is kind of cool.
I wish it was her learning about it by reading computer documents and stuff like that. That would be, I guess that'd be boring, but it'd still be.
I mean, we get a little bit of the brother snooping around on the computer. We get the classic access denied that you always see when you're on the comms. I was gonna say one more thing for the past. Just I gotta completely agree with Cooper. Lavender is a nasty flavor. I don't know why. It's a freaking flower, and when he's like, "That is the most disgusting," I'm like, "I'm right there with you, brother."
The way it smells.
Oh yeah, it smells fine, but I'm not eating it.
It's also a fun word to say, lavender.
Lavender.
It's one of my favorite words. And it's purple.
It is purple.
Violet,
nice,
whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's a nice color. It's a nice smell. It's a nice word. It tastes like shit.
Fast forward to the future.
Yep.
Not for him. He didn't fast forward there.
He took the long road.
The long way, yeah. The ghouls found the body.
Yep.
The head is missing, and he does the cough, and he nails it.
Yeah.
I need to know just like so there's some stuff. He's got a line later on that's really important, and he is like, "Oh, I didn't know that it was a big deal." I'm like,
I know the line.
Did these actors and actresses not play the game in preparation for this? Did they just go into it blind and let the directors and script work for it? Because he nails these things to what they must have said. Like we're going to need you to cough a certain way. Yeah. How? And they must have played him a video and been like, you got to cough like that because, or maybe they added it in post. That he just did a regular cough and then they added post to make it sound so perfect. But it sounds like the game. And I love that they do that. There's also another scene where they got the prisoners and they're yelling stuff just like the Raiders would yell, when you're attacking their camp.
Really like, also there's a scene, I mean, just talking about the attention to detail when, this is in the next episode, but when Norm and Chet go into Vault 32 and they flip on their Pip-Boy light, and as it comes on, I was like, that's it. But he does this cough, and that's the thing that, so, and I mean, we watched both episodes, so we're going to blend a little bit, because in the next episode, we meet a ghoul that's about to go feral.
Yeah.
And he says, I didn't make it as long as you, only like 30 years.
Yeah.
And so my wondering is, because as with this episode, he's taken, as we see in the scene, actually, he's taken some sort of medicine.
And I don't remember this from the game.
It's not. That's this is a part of a lore that's been changed, actually.
Okay, because I never went the ghoul route in the games, but I don't remember reading anything or knowing anything about like you had to take.
But it's interesting because it does. That's one thing I've always wondered when playing the games is like what keeps ghouls from, like, you meet feral ghouls all the time, but then you meet ghouls that are just
and radiation.
Time and radiation. Yeah, I guess. But now like I said, they've added this next element. I mean, it's still kind of time and radiation, but just there's a medicine that can keep you from going feral.
Yeah.
But and my thing is, I'm wondering like how long, because he's doing this cough, and Roger says he's only made it 30 years, but I mean it's 200. I mean, I guess maybe some people are still becoming ghouls.
Yeah.
Because my other thought was like, do you have like when you first become a ghoul?
I mean, in the game, the character can become a ghoul.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give any spoilers. But anyway, yes, more new people are becoming ghouls.
Okay, new people are becoming ghouls. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Hint for a future episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's definitely feeling the effects. He's getting weak.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Lucy, and I mean she learns very quickly. But it's like you can't just be walking around with a head. She's just walking around carrying the dude's head, and I'm just like, no, you gotta put that in a bag or something, because you look crazier than a raider. You just come stumbling into town with a head.
But we see her eating deviled eggs, like fresh ones.
Yep.
She's got the box.
Yep. Good old freaking Yum Brand deviled eggs.
So in the game,
yes,
these are not must loot items.
No.
They should be. Because based in the context of the show, I'm like, these would be worth so many caps.
Well, my question
Clean,
is this.
nice food.
Is the ones that you're finding most of the time, like hers obviously came from the vault.
Yeah.
So that's why they're still in good condition. I'm wondering, like, the ones you're finding most of the time probably aren't like this.
No, because they are. That's the whole point, is like, because they're irradiated. They're not irradiated. Well, yeah. The radiation is used on them to keep them fresh, which is a thing that they used to do back in the day. They used to irradiate apples to kill like bacteria and stuff, and they would last on the shelf forever. Yeah, like not forever, but like 100 times longer than just a regular apple that wasn't shot with radiation.
But
right,
it has radiation.
No.
Oh,
they're irradiated. They're not radioactive because you could take like a big
why,
blob.
Why aren't we doing that? Like,
because people freak out about it, man, and it's probably expensive and stuff like that. I think they still do it in Europe. They may still do it in the U.S. for all I know. I've read about it, but no, you could take like an object and set it next to like a thing of uranium, and it's going to kill all the bacteria and everything on it. As long as you don't like get uranium on it, it's going to be fine. It's not going to have like residual material.
Yeah.
Right? You're just the radiation waves, the gamma rays are killing everything.
Yeah.
So it's perfectly safe, but people don't understand that. So anyway. But yeah, these deviled eggs would be worth a ton, and they're not worth a ton in the game, and they should be, because it's like clean food. Like
clean food.
Yeah.
Which we get to see a lot of different eating this episode. I'm just like, nope. But so one thing I just started noticing, because like we saw this a little bit in the first episode, and then a little bit more, is like it's interesting, the vault dweller mindset. Because she is very naive to everything in the world.
Yeah.
But she also has this like slightly hard to the point business edge. It was like how like after she cut off his head, like she's just sitting there casually talking to it, or just I think about like, even though it's not as, gruesome or anything, just how to the point they are about like breeding and just like all that sort of stuff. Like they have this mix of being like totally naive, but still with this like kind of hard, no nonsense edge, which is just weird.
No, she's just traumatized and just going through the motions.
Yeah.
She's just okie dokie all the way.
Yeah, okie dokie. She hasn't said that in a while.
I was thinking about that. I'm glad that they didn't make that like a catchphrase where she was saying that all the time.
I wrote that down on some of my other notes. This is gonna be a thing. Like it's okay, but shouldn't be a thing. Weird thing though is he says, and I don't remember him saying, maybe he did when he introduced himself, because she talks about Maximus, and she asks, I wonder how the knight's doing.
Yep.
And I'm like, how did she know he was a knight? Because if she's been in
a
vault
question.
the
Didn't
whole time,
he say it?
I was say, did he introduce himself as a brother that's still not? Maybe he did.
He did. Yeah.
That's why I couldn't remember. I guess I could just go back.
Or maybe the ghoul said it or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. That'd be a good go rewatch and see if that was a little plot thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of Max.
Yep.
We go up to him. He's trying to fix his armor. Unfortunately, he doesn't have one of those yellow things.
Nope.
So he's just pulling it up to a wall.
But he does have a forklift, and this raises my question I had originally. How'd he get in it the first time?
Yeah.
I'm like, there was nothing around.
But it was working.
Yeah.
Previously.
Yeah.
It's
still got to be
right
inside of it to make it move.
But he gets a call from home base. And they're like, we're sending you another squire.
What I can't understand is why he lied about himself being dead. Because his ultimate goal, he even told...
Because they would just tell him to come back.
Well, no. That's the thing is, I'm just saying he should have said that him and Maximus, himself, his squire lived, and we're continuing the mission. Because his ultimate goal, he told, and now I can't remember the.
No, you're right.
Original night is that he's going to complete the mission, and then they'll accept me back in. And I'm like, they might still accept him back in if he completes the mission. And he's like, hey, I lied, but also got the mission done. But my thing is like, yeah, but it'd be a lot easier for you to complete the mission, sew back up, and be like, hey, what's his face died unfortunately, but hey, I completed the mission. So I don't get why he's like, I'm dead. I'm like, why? What?
This is such an interesting take because I've seen to the end and I know what's going to happen, and I'm like, but Donnell. You know the end. No, you don't because you haven't seen the whole thing.
I mean, I figure he ends up not because the Ghoul, the Brotherhood, and Lucy are all after the same thing.
Yeah.
And I figure I'm not sure if the Ghoul's gonna come around to being a good guy or whatever. I'm not sure. You may already know this, but I just figured, well, they're not gonna have like Maximus, kill Lucy. Yeah. So I figure he's going to come around to her side. And so I figure I'm saying right now his game plan. Yeah. Like his game plan right now, before we're not talking about future events where he, falls in love with Lucy. I'm not sure if that I'm just saying falls in love with Lucy or just comes to her side or whatever. I'm just talking about right now at this scene, his plan is complete the mission, go back to the Brotherhood of Steel. So why would you be like, I'm dead? Because it's going to be very hard to go back and be like, oh, I wasn't dead.
So he finds a broken piece on his suit, and he walks away from it to go get it fixed. You don't do that. You stand there like an NPC waiting for someone to walk by and be like, I got some caps for you. Yeah. If you go get this piece fixed and bring it back to me. Well, I mean, they don't have to know that. You can kill them after the fact. Let me make sure this works, head crunch and whatnot. By the way, he keeps his caps in his shoe. That would be so uncomfortable.
I mean, maybe they're like
your
on the
foot would just be torn up.
You just make sure that the smooth side is facing your foot.
It wouldn't stay.
You put them on the side, not on the bottom.
And then it would just eat through the bottom of your shoe.
Well, that's why they're on the side.
Either way, your foot's jacked
that's
up.
one thing I was wondering. Is another thing is how did caps get decided by like everyone everywhere as the currency? Like, there's no. Like, from playing the games, and with them being all over the place, there's not much long-range communication.
Yeah.
And we've played games, the West Coast, Vegas, farther east.
Radio.
Yeah. I'm just like, and so everyone just like,
the Brotherhood's getting around.
The Brotherhood is getting around. Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. But yeah. He heads into town to get his piece fixed, and this is where we find out he doesn't have 5 caps. Because he only has 4. They're like, I need 5 caps. He has 4.
Which is like nothing.
Nothing. No. That's like bare minimum.
I mean, I know like the Wanderer in the games is like rich.
Yeah.
But, I mean, come on. 1 cap doesn't get you anything. 4 caps doesn't get you anything.
Nothing. Yeah. Nothing at all. There's a few things you can. Well,
apparently
you can sell for 1 cap.
Apparently a tooth is like 6 caps.
What are they using them teeth for?
Other people, ghouls, selling them,
Yeah, but yeah, so he gets fleeced because he's like, I'll give you. I mean, I guess it wasn't really fleece; it was just him being dumb when he's like, I give you extra money to fix it right away, and she's like, all right, cool, and she fixes it in 2 seconds. Yeah, that was a
stupid move. She said 5,
just give her 5, just give her 5.
Yeah, but he comes back, and there's people, of course, trying to pull his armor apart, and they beat him up.
Yeah.
And then just walk away.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you kill this guy.
Him. You just kill him.
Yeah. Yeah. This should be the end of the story for Max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During the fight, though, there's one part where he, like, punches a guy, and he gets a moment, and he starts, like, reaching for the armor, and I'm like, what you gonna do, man? Like, that armor takes at least 45 seconds to get in.
Yeah.
There's no way you're getting in that armor while in mid-fight.
Yeah. By the way, you just take the power core immediately.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like right there, easy to steal.
Even though it's a game, and I know that's what I do in the game all the time. I park my armor somewhere. Power core comes with me.
Yeah. That's something that they never had in the game. I guess they had it in 4 a little bit, but like you should have just come back to being robbed.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. But this is where we get to see just one of the goriest deaths. Where after, like I said, they leave him for whatever reason. So he. Which I'm like, I know you're improvising, you're just grabbing some weapons, but I feel like you could either do better. He grabs a tire iron and a toilet seat. And I'm like,
I didn't understand the toilet seat at all.
I was like, I feel like either just go with a tire iron or look for another. Like, I just feel like there's got to be better weapons than a toilet seat around. But anyways,
literally anything.
But yeah, he manages to fight some of them off, but gets pinned against the suit, and that's where he grabs the leader's head with the power armor hand and just crushes it.
And then everybody scatters.
Well, there's only one guy left.
Well, yeah, I know, but like you got him against the thing. He can't get his arm backwards over there. You can
I guess
avenge your friend.
But also, I mean, these are your run of the mill low tier thieves. They're not courageous. You just watch dude's head get popped. You're out.
And then what kind of Amazon mail order delivery squire is this? Like, it's been 30 minutes since he got that. I don't know how long it took to get his tooth pulled, but I'm assuming like less than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And the pizza's already here. Like, come on, man. Like,
hey, this is the future, man. They got instant delivery. No, I was gonna say also one thing that gets me is he goes back to the town and sees his new squire, which is Thaddeus, being dropped off, and he's just like standing out in the open. And I was like, dude, like, I mean, yeah, you're up above, and that's one thing that people point out. Most people don't look up, but like, if he does look up and he sees you, the jig is up instantly because you said once again. That's why I'm like, why did you say you were dead? So if you're standing there, there's gonna be a problem. But he doesn't look up. So we get his new knight, or his new squire, which is Thaddeus, which is the guy from the first episode who was beating the shit out of him.
And I thought it was gonna be like. He was going to be like, oh, well, he's another squire. I understand his plight. I'm going to be nice. That's what I thought too. Throughout this episode, immediately he's just like, asshole. I'm going to be a jerk.
Yeah, I mean, his first thing is he does the exact same thing that Titus did to him, with grabs his cod piece and like, clean that. And I'm just like, oh, okay, we're just going down.
It's just part of the usual squire initiation.
Yeah, I guess. We get back to Lucy. So he got the head wrapped up this time. Like, thank you. You can't just be walking around with a head.
And then we see the most unrealistic thing. She's by this lake. Most unrealistic thing in this whole series. An unmutated baby deer.
Yes.
Where did this thing come from?
I was like, what is this? And then also, I was like, what is, like, animals, even in nature, like, they might not be as fearful of humans if humans haven't been around as much. But they're still, like, their instinct is to run. And so when this thing starts making some noise, I'm just like, why didn't the deer run instantly?
Why didn't she run from her?
Yeah.
And the deer run from her. I don't know if it's a she deer. I'm not. Why am I putting gendering the deer?
The other issue I got, though, is once again, and luckily, like I said, in the next episode, she does, and she pulls out that trank gun. I'm like, motherfucker, get rid of the trank gun.
She does.
I know. Like I said, the next episode, it's finally done. But I was still so pissed at this scene where it's like, what are you doing? It ran into people who had guns and are dead, so you could easily take them. What are you doing?
My anger is that these are not gulper sounds.
No.
These are Meyer Lurker sounds. And I wanted
this scene, I was sitting there, so I was like, Lurkers. Here they come.
Yeah.
Here they come.
She's by the water. She's by a swamp. This is going to be some.
The deer gets grabbed, I was like, that doesn't look any, like, because like you don't see the gulper right off the bat. You just see it get grabbed. And so when the deer first got grabbed, I'm like, that didn't look like a Meyer, but maybe it is. Maybe it is wrong. But yeah, no, it's a gulper. And no, I'm right there with you because I was like.
When the ghoul shows up, when Coop shows up, he steps on some eggs. Those are Meyer Lurker eggs.
Yeah. Okay, so you've seen into the future. Do we get any Meyer Lurkers in this?
We do not get any Meyer Lurkers this season.
Who wants a gulper? You don't want a Meyer Lurker.
Gulper was like a one-off enemy in the game. He was a hard enemy. He was a noted enemy.
Yeah, I want some of the note. Fine, whatever.
No, I need Meyer Lurkers.
You got to save some stuff for season 2, I guess.
Yeah. But you can't make the Meyer Lurker sound.
Yeah.
And show Meyer Lurker eggs.
Yeah.
And then have it not be a Meyer Lurker.
Yeah.
Have it be this is a egregious error on the part of someone.
Yes.
Okay. I still love the show.
Great
still
show.
Still did a great job.
This
is too much.
So then Coop shows up. Or the ghoul.
Yeah.
As he's known. And I like don't mess around. Nothing, just full on decks her. just knocks her out.
He's done this before.
Yeah. No, he's been doing this for 200 years.
So I want to know how long. I mean, it can't be that long, right? Because I don't know where. Was he in Louisiana or somewhere else? Like when? No, I guess he would have been in the Hollywood area because that's where he was originally.
Yeah.
How long has it been since he got dug up? to now.
Yeah.
Because it feels like it's been a longer period of time.
I feel like it has to have been like at least a week or two.
Yeah.
Like we don't get to see it, but you see the guys dig them up. And I feel like that scene had to happen earlier, probably before like even the Raiders took Vault 32 and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Or 33. Which one is the Vault she's from? Is she from 33?
She's from 33.
She's from 33, yeah. So before the Raiders took Vault 33. Like I feel like that scene, even though it's at the end of that episode, I feel like that scene has to be early because he's got like all his shit together.
Yeah.
In full bounty. I remember it was like when he first was getting digged up, he was my question
He's
was like
picked up some juice.
My question was like, so when he was buried,
were they feeding him the
vials?
Juice?
Yeah. I mean,
or was he? Yeah.
Something had to be going on. We get. Oh, which I'm liking this actually. One is because we get some vault intrigue, especially next episode. I didn't realize at first. I thought once Lucy left the vault, like we just weren't out. Not going to be seeing much of the vault. I'm liking that we're getting to go back.
I don't. It's good, and it remains good.
Yeah.
But I know, I just wanted her story. Like, once she left the vault, maybe she comes back and visits or something, but I don't need a whole story going on at the vault. It all ties in together, and it all makes sense at the end. But, I just like, let's move on. It's all about the Wanderer and the Wasteland, not the vault.
Yeah, I mean, yes, though. I guess my thing is, like, I've always, one of the things, and maybe we could have seen this in the game, or not in the show, if she went to other vaults, but I always liked cracking the mystery of vaults.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like going back to the vault, because it's like there's always every vault has
Good
a
news
mystery
for you, Donnell.
Yeah.
They're gonna go to another vault that's gonna have a mystery, and they're gonna crack it.
Nice.
Yeah.
But
and it is disturbing.
I mean, that's what I love about the vaults. Is like it's they're all painted as like, oh, save humanity.
Yeah.
Like, no, there's some disturbing shit.
Well, they talk. I don't know if it's this episode or the next episode where we basically learned some of that in this episode about Vault 32 and 33. And, one of the prisoners is like, these aren't good places.
Yeah, he's like, Vault 32 was up to some, they were not good people. And we, like I said, when they go into Vault 32, they even like look at a guy's Pip-Boy and they're like, oh, he's been dead for 2 years. So,
well, and then they mention a third vault.
Yeah,
Vault 31.
31.
During
like,
his little,
what's going on? Because, but that's one thing we learned in this episode is that they're like, this vault system was set up where 3 vaults were connected. But also, I want to know, and maybe they talk about it later on. I want to know like what the rules were for opening, because I'm just like, why wouldn't you just have them open all the time if you're?
Because there are rules.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll all be answered by the end. Oddly enough.
I like Norman is a real just like cowardly stick in the mud, but I will say he got a little bit of a spine and a hard.
Hey, he's got the small frame and int skill, man.
Yeah,
he's a little bit of luck in there,
We get to see
distributed his specials well.
we got to see that the Raiders who survived, they didn't kill. Which I'm like, Raiders are Raiders, man.
Yeah,
like they're talking about rehabilitating. I'm like, you don't know these guys that well. But one thing I thought was unrealistic is when they go to the Raiders and give them food. I'm like, Raiders are crazy. They're wild. They're not gonna waste food when you're out on the land starving all the time. Like they're locked up in the cell and they're in anger. They throw the food at the glass, and I'm just like, no way in hell. No, you give Raiders free food. There's no way in hell they're not gonna eat it all.
Yeah,
like when they did that, like even that scene when they're at that banquet, like all the Raiders just digging in ferociously. It's like they rarely get food.
And
there's
good food.
No way.
Clean food.
Yeah, there's no way they're gonna waste food. They may piss on the wall and throw some shit at the window, but they're not wasting food.
Yeah,
that's one thing Raiders will never do.
And these characters don't make any sense in the broader context of the show. So keep this scene in mind, because when we get to the end, I'm going to talk about come back to this scene if I can remember. But it doesn't make any sense why they are this way when you find out more about their situation and why they came there and what they're doing.
Okay. We get some more Maximus being a dick to Thaddeus. And like at first I didn't realize Thaddeus was the guy who was beating him up. And then once that came to head, I was like, it makes a little bit more sense, but still, like, I don't know, man.
I mean, they talk about it. They talk that out.
Yeah, I mean, they do talk it out, but then he continues to be a dick afterwards.
Exactly. I like the idea they're going to track the ghoul with their radiation signature. I'm like, but everything's radiation.
That's what I was like. I was like, how do you know it's the ghoul's radiation?
It's like
everything around you is a radiation. Like, you are a radiant. Everything like I just like.
It's like let me find this one gold bar with a metal detector in the Boolean depository or something like.
And even if there's like a setting for ghoul that is unique, it's like there's tons of ghouls. So I'm just like, still, how would you find the one ghoul you're looking for who happens to go by the ghoul? But they do. Don't know how, but they do, and they find the body without the head, and they come to the same conclusion as everybody. They know that the head was what's important.
Yep. I love how he pulls out the picture of his face, and he's like, yeah, that's him.
Yeah, they hold it up like, yep, that's probably him.
But we come back to some gulper fishing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I love he's like, and I love when he says it too. He's like, torture's bad and stuff and all the things. And then when he explained, I was like, yeah, I've always learned torture never works. And it's like, well, then why are you doing it? It's like, oh, I'm not torturing you. I'm using it as bait. Because as soon as I saw that scene, that's what I thought too. It was like, this isn't torture. I mean, it is, but it's like,
no, he was definitely fishing.
Yeah, I'm like, this man's doing some good old human fishing.
I like the gulper attacks her.
Yeah.
And dog meat, always a bro.
Yep.
Getting right in there.
Dog meat's right there. I mean, yes and no, because I also wrote down dog meat, no help when, like, I don't know, dog meat switched to the ghoul's side pretty quickly. Because, like she's being physically assaulted in front of dog meat. Dog meat's just like sitting there eating whatever she pulls up. And I'm just like, the leeches that he pulls up, like, dog meat, you just gonna watch this ghoul torture this woman, huh? The ghoul who did kill your human. But you
look,
switched
dog
to his
meat
side.
has always been morally dubious. Look, I mean, he sticks by the Wanderer's side no matter what you do in the games.
Yeah.
True.
And it's his vials, but still, she gets attacked by this gulper, and she swings his bag and hits it in the head, breaking all his vials. But the part I found weird is like the gulper, like that bag, those vials didn't look that heavy. I felt like that wouldn't really affect a gulper.
Well, the bag, who knows what's in the bag?
I guess
she's just swinging whatever she's got on hand. But these vials, if they're as important as they are and as valuable as they are. You have them in like a padded case or something.
And I would never let them out of my, like, the fact that it's just lying there where she can grab it.
Yeah.
Like, no. That is, like, I got a belt strap. It's on me all
the time.
You got
backups hidden all over the place.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
Emergency supplies.
If that's the only thing keeping me from losing my mind, 100%.
I was not expecting for like there to be like fingers in the, well, that's later on, but like his mouth was, it looks like he's got like tendrils in the mouth of the gulper, but they're fingers.
They're all fingers. Yeah. And I'm just like, ugh.
That's crazy. But then we get one of the best lines in the show from Coop.
Yep.
And his line is, Wasteland's got it, because she had this whole thing about the golden rule and stuff. And Wasteland's got its own golden rule. Thou shalt get sidetracked.
Yep. And I was like,
love it.
100%. That's the game, because
they gotta go on a side quest.
You guys, it's always a side quest, and I'm just like, yeah, that's it. Your task was saving the world. But then someone's like, can you help me get some caps for Blanky Blake? And next thing you know, you're off on a complete.
Well, I mean, Max had to go on a little side quest to get his teeth sold so he could get caps, so he could come and fix the thing. Yeah.
We get to find out a little bit about Thaddeus and why he's fat, as he calls it. And I thought it was weird that there's a job literally for fly farming where your job is literally called a shitter.
Yep.
And you get fed and then you shit so the flies have stuff to eat.
Yeah, I don't know that it would be like a dedicated job, but that's something people, that's something people do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I used to have this lady that used to cut my hair, and she talked about when she was growing up in China, and like rural China, they would like do their business in a pit, and then once a year they would dig it all up and use it as fertilizer for the crops. And she was like, that was not a good time.
No.
I moved to America to cut hair.
Yeah. And then, like you said, we already hit on, we find out, like, I feel a little bit of sympathy for Thaddeus, because it's his logic is messed up. But he says about Maximus, like, that he was beating him up because he was the new guy and everyone hated him. So he's like, why don't we beat up that guy? And it worked. And I just love the lines like, I just wish he had lived long enough to find someone else to beat the shit out of. I'm just like,
he did.
He did.
Just the circle goes round and round and round.
Yeah.
But then we get more Vault.
Yeah.
We get a Vault meeting where
they vote or not vote, but are talking about rehabilitating the Raiders.
Yep. Because they need genetic material and people to work the things.
I just feel like, I don't know, this Vault, like, for them always been like, you gotta be careful with the Vault and radiation and all that stuff. I'm like, I'm pretty sure, like, it's already compromised. So maybe that's what they're leading into. But I'm pretty sure you start using Raiders and if they somehow come along, adding them in, like, that's just gonna, the next generation is gonna be all rated up at that, and it's just gonna carry on. But
yeah, no, I like the back and forth between the two guys that are like trying to vie for the position of the overseer.
Yeah,
Betty's just sitting on the side, like whatever. I'm on the council. I'm old. I don't care.
Well, see, he had been the overseer before.
Yep.
Which, part of me was like, why doesn't she just? Like, I feel like she should be like that's the one you would go with. Especially these two clowns. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Because this is America. You got to have a vote. You got to have democracy.
I feel like she needs to throw her hat into it because these two guys are going to lead this vote down a chaotic trail. But yeah, we get to see them as they go through, and then we also get a little bit of Norman basically being the only person to vote the rational thing of, hey,
let's just kill him.
Why don't we kill him? Which they all take a shock at, and then we get to see an awesomeness fight between Maximus and the Gulper.
Yeah.
I liked that. I will say they made it seem like the water was acidic earlier, and then...
No, radioactive.
Okay, just radioactive?
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought at one point C said, why do you keep dunking me in that acid
and poison
water?
No, poison water.
Okay, poison water, okay.
Because her rad meter was going crazy while she was getting dunked.
Yeah. Which I love that rad meter sound.
Yeah, they do it so well.
It's so spot on.
I haven't heard rad meter sounds like that since Chernobyl. It's so good.
But in defeating the Gulper, and everything's gory in this show.
Yeah.
In a gory fashion, they get the head, which I'm like, that's lucky setup.
Yeah, luck stat for
luck
sure.
stat, yes. Maximus has quite the high luck stat. I mean, even the fact that he killed that bear with like 2 shots to the head, like pinpoint, like that's it.
I feel like this Gulper
he was
wasn't
using VATS.
This Gulper was not as scary as in the video game. In the video game, it's like a top tier hardcore enemy you try to avoid. And this one, it seemed like if it swallowed me, it would be painful. But I feel like I could like cut my way out from the inside. Like it's not like razor sharp teeth like shredding you up as you go in.
Fingers.
Yeah. And a human seems almost too big for it. To like eat and digest.
I was about to say maybe it bites you in half with what?
Yeah, exactly. It's fingers. You get a bunch of like claw marks. How do you clip those nails?
That's not a thought I want to think about.
They got fingernails.
They did have fingernails.
See, the fingernails should have been long and scraggly and like cutting into them. And
that's what grind. Okay, now the Gulper's even more disturbing thinking about it like that. But then we get one last scene with Coop and Lucy as they walk through. This is as we hinted to, where he sees the pip or the Vault Boy, yeah, Vault Boy, and blows it up. And then that's when we also get the completion of our flashback that shows like, oh, he's the Vault Boy.
Yeah,
and yes, very very nice,
fantastic. I love it. I love it. Such a good, another great episode.
Very good episode.
I love the getting the past story and how everyone ties into it and their important characters. And yeah, it's all going to come to fruition by the end. It's all going to work together.
Nice.
It's going to be great. Well, we're going to take a break there. When we come back, we're going to talk about episode 4.
The Ghouls. All right, we are back, and we are jumping straight into episode 4.
The Ghouls.
Yes.
Aptly named.
Yep. So this is where we really dive into, as like I said, the new kind of lore with ghouls, that this medicine is needed to keep you from going feral. And I was just like, I mean, I guess it's always like this as a ghoul. Like you said, we were saying before, this was a factor. It's just knowing that you're on borrowed time in a sense. Like eventually, all ghouls go feral.
Yeah,
unless like you keep your stock as medicine. And so I'm just like, that's just gotta be such a sucky exist. I mean, being a ghoul is pretty fucked up anyways because you're an outcast in society. Most places don't accept you. But I'm just like, just always knowing like, well, is today the day?
Well, I mean, it's a gradual thing. You see it coming.
Yeah,
and you've obviously got that sickness. This is definitely interesting because in the game we never see anybody turn to a ghoul.
Yeah,
the character can.
Yeah,
but it's always just like they're either or turn feral.
Yeah, we never seen anyone turn feral.
Yeah, it's always just they're either feral or they're not feral, and most of them are feral.
Yep, majority are.
But I thought it was cool how they did this. Like you could tell one was just starting to turn feral because they were just like trying to remember their name and like repeating it.
We meet Roger and he's just all we can hear at the first is I'm Roger. My name is Roger. My name is Roger. I mean, it's not because it's actually something you need to live. But I was like, sounds so. When Roger's like talking to him about getting it, you got a vibe. I'm good for. I'm like, he sounds like so much of a druggie, and it's like yes and no. Like it is valid though because he's like. if you got a vial. I'll say so. Lucy gets shocked when the ghoul Coop. He is also doing it for his own means. But honestly, I'll be honest. I feel like the ghoul killing Roger was also a mercy.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I'd rather be dead than feral. And I love how he does the whole thing of being like, hey, you remember food? How good it gets him talking about something nice before he takes him out. Because right.
And it seemed like they were friends. Or they at least knew each other.
They knew each other. They had some familiarity. And then also, I liked Roger when he's like, you and your smooth skin friend might want to get out of here. Else it's going to get ugly in here. Like, Roger's like, full, like, if he doesn't have a vial, I don't have a vial. This is happening. And he's just like.
Also, got to get that ass jerky.
Mm-hmm.
This was an opportunity where I thought they were going to have her say okie dokie. And they didn't. And I'm so glad that they didn't. Yeah. Because he hands her the knife and is like, get to it. Because we got to meet.
So Lucy during this, because he starts carving up Roger, which is another great, also disturbing eating scene. I was like, didn't need to see that, but also very realistic to the game. But he starts carving up Roger, and she's like talking about, oh, I can't believe he turned to this. We had hard times down in the vault. And I'm like, you can't compare vault living. Like, even, there are some vaults. Depends on what
vault you've been in.
It depends on what vault. And there are also some vaults that suffered some terrible endings, like you find in the game, like that ended up starving to death. But as a whole, if you are a living vault dweller and you can exit your vault, then you had it better than most people who were never in a vault or that sort of thing who are on the surface. I'm like, you can't really compare.
Yeah.
This man's been alive for 200 plus years. He has seen some shit.
We get a brief scene with Norm and Betty talking in the vault.
Yeah.
Not super important.
Not important.
Not anything to glean from there. But then in the next scene, this is a good scene.
Yes.
It's Lucy, and she's dying of thirst.
Mm-hmm.
There was in the last episode there was a scene where he like dumped out water on the ground. I'm like, are you crazy?
Yeah,
but he doesn't care because he can drink anything.
He can. Yeah, that's one thing I was thinking is like, while being a ghoul sucks on one aspect, because like I said, you're an outcast, you have the going feral over your head. I'm like, you get a lot of benefits, like where everybody else is just constantly worried about radiation. You're like, meh.
Yeah.
And just like also like you can eat it. Like I said, he's eating just like you can. I mean, it may
he's not just eating human meat. He's eating ghoul human meat.
Like you can eat anything. You like there's so much where it's like
radiation in this, heals you
in this post-apocalypse world. Being a ghoul actually isn't like it sucks, but also like
there's benefits.
Yeah, there's a lot of benefits that I'm like, I'm not saying I want to be a ghoul, but on the other side, I'm like.
I love the addition of like they had like the radioactive water pit from the games in there. That was fantastic. But then she's just dying of thirst. He goes and fills up this cantina in a wheel, a car wheel that's got water in it, and then she's just like, I can't stand it, I'm going for it. And I love the radiation just ramping up,
crackling and going crazy. And I'm like, ooh, you getting some rads.
Pit boy is going
Your
out of
max
control.
Health is going down. Your max health is going down. But yeah, she finally drinks the water, and then she does a good/stupid thing, because good on one aspect, because you gotta escape, but bad on the other aspect, because it's like if you're running and you don't have a destination on, even if you don't know where you are, it's like don't stop. You gotta Even if so, Coop starts coughing.
From a master tracker.
Yeah, I was like, Coop starts coughing, and she takes that opportunity to run. I'm like, yes, go, girl. But then she literally runs, I don't know, 25 feet, and then realizes she has nowhere to go. I'm like, okay, you may have nowhere to go, but you better keep going.
I mean, she didn't know where to go, but she was just like surprised by the big crater.
I guess. Yeah. Still, you gotta you got a master trader. But this is where we get to see, like I said, this episode is all about Lucy losing a little bit of that vault dwellerness, because then we get to see her.
A lot of it, I would say.
Oh yeah, a lot of it. I mean, she still says she lives by her golden rule at the end of it all. But we get to see her. She literally bites off Coop's finger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, That's not something Viltruller would do.
I love how he just turns around and like, that's the Walter Goggins is so good in this show.
Mm-hmm.
He's really just. I mean, look, the actress who played Lucy is fantastic, but Walter Goggins is carrying this.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I mean,
everybody is good.
Everyone
the guy
is doing
plays
great.
Norm and all the Vault Dwellers. Everybody's great directing, great acting, coaching, and everything was done very well. I cannot imagine that people didn't play the game and like get an idea of what this was in order to do it.
I want to take a quick aside because Walter Goggins is honestly, I think, one of the most like phenomenal actors.
Yeah,
because I think about, like you said, in this he's just killing it as a ghoul. Freaking Justified.
Yep.
Like, don't get me like,
Fat Man.
What's his name? Fat Man. Yeah. And I just think about like how, like I said, in Justified,
Cecil?
he was the villain, and also kind of villain, depending on how you look at it. But anyways, and also, not the main character, but like he stole the scenes in Justified whenever he was in it. Like everyone was doing great, but it was like there's freaking Walter Goggins, and he's like that in a lot of things. Like he's never. I mean, I hate to say it, it's partly because of his looks. He looks like someone who's going to be a bad guy. So he's very rarely in a position where he can be the leading man, but he kills it in all his roles.
Yeah,
like he just kills it. Where it's like, man, like,
I need him in a Hallmark Christmas movie, just like being himself, just doing his thing. But we got a brief vault scene.
Yep.
With Chet and Steph.
Yep.
And I love that she's just like, I've lost my husband.
Yeah.
Wear his shoes.
Wear his shoes and his scarf. I mean, there's no way Chet is getting into them shoes, but Bert had some small feet. That's what at first I was wondering. Like, it was weird. I was like, does she actually love Bert? But I mean, by the end of it, it's like, okay,
I feel like she does. Yeah.
Yes, she did. And at first, when she was like giving away stuff, like, oh, she's just trying to get rid of it. But no, it's like, okay, she really is messed up. I will say Chet has terrible lines. I mean, I'm imagining him and Lucy ended up together just because they were close cousins, because this man ain't got no game. Some of the stuff he said, I was like, don't say that. Don't say that.
He's a low charisma character.
Yes.
He's high ability, like strength.
Yeah, probably high strength, probably some good endurance.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that. He's just not beating the game with the social roles. That's all.
So then we get back to Lucy and the ghoul, and the only question I have is, did they cauterize? Like, ghoul, you bite off his finger, he's fine. You cut off Lucy's finger, like, is you gonna bleed out?
Yeah, it's just be gushing blood.
So I was like, did they stop and cauterize that or something? Because how's he not like on the ground?
Right. But super duper mart.
Yep.
Love it. Another small addition to the game. Again, making everything just perfect.
Just fantastic.
Meeting up with the stuff.
I wrote this down earlier in the last episode, and then this episode's answer. I was just like, I don't get like why he kept her alive at first, because I was just like, even using her for Gulper Blade, you don't need her alive.
She's food.
That.
She's food.
Which you don't need her alive for that either.
Well, I mean, might as well keep it as fresh as you can for as long as you can.
True.
Well, she's still got the tracker for. She says she knows how to find the head.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot that she put the tracker.
He knows it's in the Gulper.
I completely forgot.
But
she put the tracker.
I'm like, just take her Pip Boy.
Yeah,
that's got to be how she's tracking him.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, she gets sent into the super duper mart.
See, now that's even weirder, because like you're right. Why didn't he take her Pip Boy before sending her in? But
why wouldn't you just take her Pip Boy anyway?
Yeah.
But unless it will only work for her or something.
Yeah.
But that's when we get introduced to Mr. Handy.
Yep.
Voiced by the greatest casting decision in the history of fucking mankind, Matt Berry.
And
they could
fantastic.
The dialogue that they give him and his he didn't even need to try.
Yeah.
He just needed to be Matt Berry delivering a line deadpan.
Yep.
And it is absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
From now on in every future game, if you're going to have a Mr. Handy, Matt Berry, just get Matt Berry to record all the sounds that a human can make, so that way it can be, I need Matt Berry doing like my GPS.
Yes.
He would.
Yes.
He's great.
Yeah.
He's great.
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
And
love Matt Berry.
He kills this
Love
role.
the IT crowd. Love him in What We Do in the Shadows.
And love him in this now.
Fantastic.
So yes, he gets sent in to trade for some vials. So I was thinking like, man, one is like, how did I mean, I guess you're a bounty hunter, so you're doing a lot of work. Because I was just like, one human is only a 2-month supply.
Yeah.
Of this stuff. I'm just like, damn, like you gotta be working, because I mean 200 years. I mean, I don't know if you need to start taking the drug right away, but I mean, he's got to have been taking it at least 400 years at this point, if not longer.
Yeah, we don't know how long it took him to turn into a ghoul.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that we will get that. Maybe in we don't get it in the first season, but maybe in the second season we'll get more of that.
So I'm just like, if you need a vial a day, apparently, because when later on in this episode they say 60 vials, we can do that. Yeah. And so that's a 2-month supply. So you need a vial a day, and one human gets you a 2-month supply. I'm like, you gotta be doing a lot of work as a ghoul.
Fresh human.
Yeah.
A vault dweller, not just random
I'm just like
person. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine if he does a big bounty, he can get a bunch of it. But yeah, that's downside of a ghoul is all your money or whatever resources you have goes to getting this drug.
Why wouldn't you get the chemistry stat and learn how to make it?
Yes.
But yeah, we through the series of this dialogue, she gets a new, not a used finger.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if I was accepted.
At least it's not as bad as how the guy got a new foot.
Yeah. True. I would take this finger over the foot replacement any day of the week, because the foot replacement was a garbage disposal on a foot. Yeah. That thing was horrifying.
Again, great delivery by Matt Berry. Mm-hmm. It's just like, I wasn't going to turn you into a sex slave. I'm just going to harvest your organs.
Well, he's like, they were having such a nice conversation. It's like, oh, I'm so glad. I thought they were going to do a sex slave. Like, oh, that's disturbing. I'm just going to harvest your organs. And I'm just like, yes. But yeah, then we get back to back to the vault. I thought Norm was, because he like we hinted at or we talked about, we just skipped over it. But when he does meet with Betty, she doesn't outright say don't do anything. She's just like,
be careful.
Yeah. So then all of a sudden Norm's giving the Raiders cake, and I'm like, is Norm about to murder all these Raiders? Poison cake? But then if he is, he's also killing the person watching the Raiders because he gave the rest of the cake to her. So
well, he did that to get her to go away. That was his social charisma role.
Yeah.
Is like, here, you can have some cake. No one will know. And she's like, oh, let me go take this home real quick. Watch things while I'm gone. And he has a brief talk with one of the Raiders. Yeah. And he's like, you guys are not innocent.
Yeah. And so he's like, Vault 32 was messed up before we got there.
So he decides he's going to go investigate by looking on the computer, and he gets an access denied. And I'm just like, hack it.
You just got to figure out what words. We better get
a hacking scene.
And just make sure before your last try, you back out. Because if you do that last try, you're locked out forever. You back out, go back in, you get 4 more tries.
But he goes and finds Chet.
Yep.
And he's like, let's go check out Vault 32. Yep. I need a pair of strong arms.
See that apparently, because I was wondering, did they send anybody into Vault 32? But apparently they just collapsed the tunnel.
Yep, with a bomb. Yeah. Well, that explains why she didn't leave through Vault 32.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what my whole thing is like. If you didn't go back into Vault 32 and close it, then the door is probably wide open. But yeah, they just collapsed the tunnel. So him and Chet dig on in, and we get to see more of the horror that was Vault 32.
Yep. Again, great visual storytelling.
Yes.
Where it's just like a couple of people that strangled each other to death laying there.
There was another guy with a freaking foosball table arm through his chest.
And he had stabbed himself or something. And there's the guy with the fork and the toaster.
Yeah.
And then the overseer strangled himself with the cord. Just fantastic. That's how you're supposed to do it in a Fallout game.
Yeah. And it's one of the things I guess maybe for a Vault Driller was shocking, because the people who strangled each other, I do like that Chet very much is like, they strangled each other. And he's like, with their hands. He said it it's like,
oh yeah, because he's low ent, man.
Yeah.
He's destined to become a super mutant. He's halfway there already.
He's halfway there. But yeah, like I said, and that's why I like the Vault backstory, and like I said, I guess we're getting more of this. Love me some Vault intrigue. Love me some. I'm just like, ooh, where's this going? What's the dark side of this vault? Because we got to see when he looked at the thing, it was the 3 vaults were 33 was farming, 31 was medical, and then 32 was technology. And I'm like, okay, so what's going on with the technology here that made these people do whatever the hell they did? And so yeah, I'm ready for that. I'm assuming you already knew.
I do know what's happening, but I'm not going to say yet. We'll
I might have to go and just watch the other 4 episodes so I can just get
this is kind of fun. You not knowing and me knowing, where it's it's interesting to hear your perspective as we go. Where I have all the information already.
Yeah.
But I love the stuff written on the wall. Is to hell with management.
Yeah.
And we know the truth.
We know the truth.
That's all going to be important later. Oh yeah, you will, and it's glorious.
Yeah.
It's very Fallout-y. With what happens, yeah.
I hope so. Yeah, that's what I want.
I was gonna say we go back to Lucy.
Yep.
There's a scene, a minor scene here that happens that becomes very important later, where she's having a flashback of her mother in the cornfield. It's very important later on.
I assume so.
Yeah.
My question is, how do these two stoner idiots get all this supply of this zombie drug?
They got to be trading it, right, for the organs.
Yeah. Okay.
Selling it, maybe.
But even like, I'm just like, these two
guys.
they're
trading it for the people.
I mean, I know they have the Mr. Handy that's doing all the work, but still, I'm like, how did these two get set up as like the go-to guys for organs and ghoul juice? Like,
there's just a couple of stoners on the couch, man. A couple of drug dealers.
I guess. I don't know.
I'm assuming they got a racket going on. They get the drugs from some third party.
Yeah.
And then they trade it for the people.
Yeah.
And then they trade the people for more drugs. And they make a little caps in between.
I just feel like any group of raiders could just come in here and just take over this operation.
Now, why they've got a bunch of like ghouls that are slowly turning feral, locked up in cages is odd.
Yeah.
But we have also find out that Mr. Handy has a name. He is affectionately named Snip Snip.
Snip Snip.
Yeah.
Yep. Good old Snip Snip. I was hoping that he was gonna he was gonna convert him and he was gonna tag along, but no Mr. Handy companion.
And just like the games, there is nothing. Mr. Handys are all fine and well till they turn mean and they become terrifying.
Yes. Because he was still pretty nice during it though.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, don't worry, this will be over quick. This won't hurt. I mean, it was gonna hurt.
Psychopath Mr. Handy stuff.
Yeah,
right there.
He pulls out that freaking circular saw. I'm like, how's this not gonna hurt?
Get another strong Fallout reference. Abraxo.
Yep.
Fantastic. Fine chemical.
Yep.
Used in many a concoction.
He manages to somehow, because I watched it, but I'm still like, I don't know if I believe this fight. But he somehow overpowers, outwits, and then stuns a Mr. Handy with some conveniently placed defibrillators, and then loads up his trank gun with Braxo, and goes out to the stoners and like, you're gonna free me and all the ghouls. I'm like, I'm gonna stop you right there. I know you're just being the good person here, and we do get to see that this goes terribly wrong in a second. I'm like, you don't know the condition of these ghouls.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
she doesn't. I mean, they even say like, hey, you don't understand.
Yeah. Like my thing is like, before I start demanding ghoul freedom, I'm not trying to be oppressive to ghoul, but I'm at least gonna walk up to the one and be like, hey, how you feeling?
Well, that's you knowing. Like, she doesn't know. That's the thing. Yeah. She just thinks they're just like Walter Goggins out there.
Yeah, but she knows, like, even... oh, no, I guess he didn't figure that out until...
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Like, she didn't know exactly what was happening with Roger.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Now that I think about it, okay.
She didn't figure that out till the end, because that's when she's like...
Exactly. You need this to live.
You get this and you don't turn into one of those, kind of thing.
Yep, never mind.
I took offense at the logic of the stoner guys. They're like, oh, we don't care if you hurt our robot. I'm like, that's your lifeblood,
that's your life. You're not
cutting these people up.
Job is shut down. They even made jokingly. They were like, AC actually might be nicer because it is hot in here. I'm like, dude, this robot is everything for you. Like this Mr. Handy. No Mr. Handy, no more operation.
Yep. But yeah, she gets the ghouls released. Most of them are fine and they just run away. But a couple of them are feral.
Yep.
And they start attacking and there's a big fight scene.
Yep.
And that's when she finds the weapon.
Yes, the 10mm, which I'm like, and it it sounded like it. I was like, this is the gun.
I would love this prop on my mantle.
Oh yeah,
there's a few movie props that I'm like, yeah, I'd like that.
Yeah, no
10mm. Yeah,
give me one of those.
Yeah, pistol from Fallout. Fantastic.
Yes,
yeah.
I mean,
unmodded.
It's such a oh yeah, you got to go with it. I mean, you do get a silencer on mine.
Look, eventually that thing's gonna be 4 feet long with a silencer.
But I still, if I'm putting it on the mantle, I just want unmodded. I thought this was like we said, these last 2 episodes, especially this episode, is I feel is like Lucy's like transformation moment from being just a naive vault dweller to being someone who has to survive the wasteland. And I think really this part with the ghoul that during this scene, like I said, a bunch of feral ghouls attack. They all conveniently kill each other and the 2 stoners, but then there's one ghoul left. But she's like right on the edge where she's like, I'm Martha. Like,
well, she attacked last. That's the whole reason.
I know, but what I'm saying in this, Lucy having to pull the trigger though. Like, I feel like it was one of like, all right, that was your baptism right there.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. That was the turning point. Yeah, right, because that's the first time she kills. I think. Yeah,
it's the first time she kills.
I would not have even in the situation. If I'm naive, I don't let her get that close to me.
No.
Letter gets way too close. Yeah.
I mean, you literally just saw what feral ghouls can do because they just ripped apart everybody and stuff. I'm like, no, I might try, but yeah, not getting that close before I pull the trigger.
We get a brief scene again with Norm and Chet in Vault 32, and he's looking through the computer and finds out that the way that they got in is through his mom's Pip-Boy. Yeah,
which I'm like, okay, this is obviously because there's man. I mean, you know it now. I'm wondering because like. The Raiders coming in and specifically taking the Overseer, and I'm just like, I know the mom's Pip-Boy was what let him in. That's how the Raiders knew about Lucy. Oh man, there's just so much. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
We get the awesome scene of her again walking out with the leather armor, just great. I don't know when she had time to find that.
Still
and put
had
that on.
The pistol, which I was glad for because we're done with the trank. We're done with the trank gun, everybody. Thank goodness.
She's upgraded. Yeah. She better get that like high tech sniper rifle by the end. And then we end with Coop finding the drug bag and just going to town on everything they got as fast as he can.
And he's also like the luckiest ghoul. He got a whole bus of the ghoul drug or whatever.
Yeah, he doesn't need the bounty anymore. He can just walk away now with everything, with his bag of goodies.
I mean, you might want to start looking for. Eventually that stuff's going to run out, so you might want to start looking for a new supplier.
But this has got to be worth more than whatever the bounty is.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah, just another fantastic 2 episodes of a great series.
This series is I'm just loving it. One thing I want to throw in at the end here because I just realized this. I never thought about this when playing the games, and maybe I took seeing it in a more realistic setting. Rad roaches.
Yeah.
One of my biggest nightmares.
I love rad roaches.
I hate flying insects that can get in your face, and the bigger they are, the more I hate them. And I'm like, rad roaches can fly, and they are huge. Like a real live rad roach is one of my biggest nightmares in life.
They're impossible to shoot.
Like
you just gotta bash them.
I was like, nah, man. Like I said, I never noticed it when playing the games, but when I saw there was a scene early in the first episode where they were flying up into trees, I was like, oh hells no. I was just like, no.
I hope we get like an irradiated rad roach, like a green one.
Yeah, one of those green ones. Yeah.
As always, you can find us on our website, watchinitpod.com. There you can find links to our social media and to email us, watchinitpodcast@gmail.com. Donnell, what else should they do?
Well, if you are enjoying Fallout like we are, if you have any theories, or if you're like Robert and you know everything, because you probably did. Most of you probably already watched all of it.
That doesn't mean there's still no theories to discuss.
But yeah,
set up for a season 2.
Send us anything, because I'm loving this show, and I'm always up to discuss it some more. So yeah, if you have any theories, send us that. And as always, give us any ratings, reviews, 5 stars.
And be sure to check us out on Radio Static.
Yeah.
We just were guests getting interviewed there. Static Radio. Sorry. There is a Radio Static, but Static Radio.
Yes.
Where we got interviewed by Bob.
Yep.
And it's on YouTube. Go look up his podcast. It's fantastic.
Yep. We're gonna have him on in a little bit.
Yep.
It's gonna be a fun one. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. Bye.